what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Mike Sasser. We are shooting in Hawaii today with this Alex. Yes. She says yes, we are shooting in Hawaii today. We're actually with a big crew of people. If you want to show just real quick, here's May, she's modeling. Anita and Irene are over there. Here's Bella, Cash, and Pratik on the camera. So we're hanging out here just shooting some fun stuff.
All right, you guys, today I have a behind the scenes video planned for you from a recent trip to Hawaii. I honestly wasn't sure if I was gonna take pictures this day, but Irene convinced me to shoot something, and sometimes having no plan at all makes the best pictures. Not usually. In this video, I'm going to show you how I use the natural elements around me to improve my compositions. If you like that natural window light look that you might get inside somewhere, I'm going to show you how you can find that outside. Then I'm also borrowing this Canon R5, which is totally different from my normal Fuji or Sony setup. So it should be a fun day. Let's go ahead and get started.
That's actually kind of cool. This like fence kind of matches your crochet, so that's maybe an idea. This tree stump looked a lot cooler when I was passing it. Now I'm not 100% sure. Man, that outfit looks so awesome. Okay, just chill there for a sec. I'm just gonna get a quick test shot. Make sure I've got exposure and everything. Okay.
So in this first little spot, I really liked the framing that the trees had, so I played around with using that as a background and as a composition element to frame her in.
So I want to be able to see a little bit more of your hands. So if this is kind of like sliding down a little bit, and then this one, I kind of want off the shoulder. So we'll play around with that kind of like off the shoulder vibe. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Okay, don't want to drop Pratik's camera.
Now, in order to get beautiful, even light on her face, I have her nose pointed out towards the water while the trees create kind of an overhang. This gives that super soft window light look that looks amazing.
Okay, and then remember how I had you do your hair before, flipped all to one side? We're gonna do that like the whole day. It's just gonna be like chaotic, crazy, right over the top. Yep, right there, that's great. That looks great. Sure. Okay, I mean that is obviously, those just look good. All right, I'm happy with those. Let's have you do something sitting down just right here. And then I'm gonna use a little bit of this archway to frame you. So that's great. Whichever way is kind of more comfortable to lean in. Wow, this is beautiful. Okay. And then really with your weights, like really lean into it. You can still have your arm up here, but just like, yeah, exactly. That's great. You're gonna get rocked with water here. All right, peeking out, and then hair. Wow, this is really close. Like everything about it I like, there's just something that's just like a little bit off. So let's do this. Maybe sit like cross-legged. And then you're just gonna, with this outfit, you're just gonna push it kind of between your legs. And then let's have one leg kind of bring it, yeah, right there. Okay, and then do that. Sitting up tall, right there. Okay, eyes at me, yep, right there. That's great, and lengthen that leg towards me even more. This is great. God, the lighting in here is just like, it's amazing.
Oh, I love this.
This is pretty.
Oh, I love the background with that. It looks so sick.
This next shot, I wanted to incorporate the fence because it had a similar crisscross look as her crochet outfit. Always look for ways that you can use your location to add interest to the photo.
I'm gonna do the Pratik move. Is this guy here. This is classic. Okay, peeking at me. That's great. And then so you'll still be sitting up tall. There you go. Let's have you scoot a little bit closer in, and then you can be, let's have you I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. So let's have you lay on your stomach. Let's do maybe both elbows, maybe both hands. Like push, yeah, exactly. You're gonna stretch, and then I need your hair to be, wait for the water. Yeah.
So you can see here that I'm shooting a vertical crop. Why? Because of Instagram, honestly. It takes up way more space in the feed, it fills up the whole screen in stories. Even if it's really not a better framing here, I found myself this trip trying to shoot more vertical anyways. I never imagined a social media platform influencing the way I shoot, so just keep that in mind while you're shooting.
Okay, you ready? Yeah. All right, so we're just gonna put you in this little sea of green. So if you wanna like stand there, and this is gonna come in and kind of get you here. Yeah, exactly.
I absolutely love rich greens in my photos. So for this shot, I tried to have the trees surround her in this kind of dreamy, romantic way. You can create this yourself in fields, looking for patterns, anything that will take up most of the frame and have your subject stand out from it.
Let's just kind of bring them up just here like this. Exactly. Let's see here. Shutter speed. There you go. Wow, that's great. Can you pull your hair forward? And then just with your fingertips, I just want you to think like real gentle with them. Are you pretty chilly? Okay. Give yourself. Okay. Not necessarily in your hands, but like almost like kind of, and then just from there, you're just gonna sort of like gently, kind of like almost like a little hide from me. Yes, right there. That's great. I love that. Okay, do a couple peeking out. All right, and then just slowly kind of slide those hands down until they're almost out of the shot. Keep going, keep going. You get cool. One more, just like that. Breathing through your mouth. Wow, nice work. Okay, I love it.
Oh, I love those.
I like the little addition of the texture of the fence, the greenery, using some of this here, and then that little opening there. And it all worked because it's super overcast. You know, people are like, what happens if it's overcast, or what happens if it's sunny? When you learn to use the light, you can kind of do whatever you need to in whatever situation. We just created some directional light. I'm gonna finish this video back home.
All right, so now that you've seen some of the shooting tips, let's go in and take a look at some of the editing tips. So we're gonna pull up one of the images from the shoot, and I'm gonna show you guys how I would edit this image to get it ready to post on Instagram, to share with you in this video. Let's take a look. All right, so here we have the image as shot. This is straight out of the camera. Now it's a little bit bright because, like I said, I was using Pratik's camera, so a few new things for me. It was set to auto ISO. So it boosted the exposure on this quite a bit. It's one of the reasons why I like shooting manual, so you can tell the camera exactly what you want. You can get your exposures really correct in camera, and it'll speed up your workflow. So the first thing is we're gonna take this exposure and we're just gonna come down a little bit to an area where I like it. I think that looks pretty good. Now for color adjustments, things like that, I use my own personal presets. I think they're amazing. They add a lot of warmth, a lot of dreaminess. That's what I like. I think presets in general are great to help you speed up your workflow. If you can apply a set of presets to your images and save you time and get to a starting place where they're really good, that's gonna be really helpful. So let's just scroll through a couple of these. These are a little dramatic. That's pretty nice. That's a little intense. Yeah, that's pretty warm. So let's go ahead with this crush with the snowflake. It's a little cooler tone. Now I really like this, but it definitely looks a little bit green. So let's zoom in here. We're gonna grab the tint and we're gonna push it over towards pink a little bit more. So that looks pretty good. So let's zoom back out. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I could probably be content posting this image, sharing this image, but there's about 2 more things that I want to do. So the first is going to be that this background is pretty muddy. We're not seeing a whole lot of detail in here, and this is part of what I found interesting about the image. So in order to bring this back without making the image too dull, we're gonna grab the shadows and we're gonna bring the shadows up. Let's see, this is at 100%. That looks a little cartoony. So let's go ahead and pull it back a little bit to where we can still see it. And then in order to get a little bit more contrast punched back in, we're gonna take the blacks. We're gonna bring the blacks down. So you can see here that there's still the contrast, but you can actually see the details. So anytime you've got a muddy section of the image, the remedy for that is shadows up, blacks down. So let's go ahead and take a look at what that looked like before we started. Beautiful. You can even see like the punch in the greenery and a little bit more punch here in her skin and her outfit. So I think that looks really amazing. Now again, we could be finished here, but there's one more thing that I wanna do. So we're gonna bring this into Photoshop. All right, all we're gonna do is a little dodge and burn, just to add a little bit extra punch, a little bit of that finishing touch. For my client work for Boudoir, I typically don't do this, but if I'm doing something like this, you know, I only have to edit a couple of the images from the shoot. It could be nice to go in and refine it just a little bit. So I have a dodge and burn action here, which you can download for free in the description. I'll put a link up there for you, no problem. The first thing it does is it adds this levels, which just is a little boost of contrast. We're gonna pull that down a little bit because we're gonna create our own contrast. Now a burn layer is just a curves layer pulled down with the mask completely black. The dodge layer is the opposite, is a curves layer pulled up. Again, with the mask with nothing showing through, we're gonna go ahead and paint in what we want. Let's actually start with the burn. So we're gonna grab the brush tool by clicking B, opacity is gonna be 100, flow is gonna be 3%, and we're just gonna shape a little bit over here. We're just gonna darken this side of her face, we're gonna darken this side of her face a little bit, just to sort of bring this to the front. We're gonna add a little bit of contrast here. We're gonna do, again, a little bit on the outside of her arm here. We're gonna get the outside of her leg. We're gonna grab this little shadowy area down here underneath her. This all looks pretty good. So basically you just wanna darken the darker areas and brighten the brighter areas. And then with skin, to get that really round, smooth, three-dimensional look, you darken the outside and then you brighten, you dodge the inside. So we're gonna go to the dodge layer and we're just gonna, right in here, we're gonna do a little bit of this. We're gonna do a little bit on her calf here, a little bit on her legs, a little bit on her legs here. Okay, perfect. So at first glance, you may not think, wow, that looks like a totally different image. But if we just toggle our edits on and off, you can see, wow, that actually did make quite a bit of a change that add a lot of three-dimensionality to it. This is a little bit much on her cheek. You could go in and take some of that out just a bit, and let's see that again. Yeah, that's pretty good. This is even a little intense. So what we're gonna do in the burn layer, we're gonna filter, blur. So what we're doing is we're just taking the edit that we did and we're making it a little bit less intense. So you can see this is the paint, this is with a blur. So we're gonna do that and just make it a little bit less intense, and again, there we go. So that's our shot, that's our image. Let's go ahead and take a look at that full screen. So in the comments, let me know what was most helpful about this video. I would love to know what is really getting through to you guys and what is helping you guys out. Once again, you can grab that action just by clicking the link in the description. I'll get that right over to you. And I'm excited to share more knowledge in the future. So if this was helpful, go ahead and subscribe so you can see the future videos coming out.